This is Michael Santos presenting Le Mans Winery project, the role of land prices from Sonoma State University. The main idea of our paper is how does land prices affect investment criteria for a new winery startup? And the winery startup is in the Napa region of California. Our findings from a capital budgeting project application tells us that based on the pricing assumptions, that the project is acceptable using net present value, internal rate of return, modified internal rate of return, and profitability index. They are all acceptable. And the second finding is based on the ordinary payback period and discounted payback period. They are respectively 7 to 10 years. And the last finding we have is when the land prices in the Napa, California region reaches to about 200,000, and ordinary and the payback period beyond 200,000 reaches to 10 to 17 years respectively. These are very long periods. The assumptions of our project, we obtained them from publications that was done for the Sonoma region. One assumption is that our capital budgeting project has lifetime of 20 years, and the weighted average cost of capital is 12%. Tax rates for the profits 20%, and the capital gains tax rate is 10%. We also assume that the net working capital as a start is $500,000 and it will increase 5% annually. The land specifications are, we assume that the size of the land for the winery startup is about 50 acres. Price per acre will be 200,000, and the depreciation for the machinery and other equipment is we have different depreciation methodologies, but for land is not depreciable, meaning there is zero depreciation for land. Also, the land price will go up 3% at the historical inflation rate. The wine pricing and the cost assumptions, as I mentioned earlier, was taken from a publication, Jordan 2010, looking at the 80 wineries in the Sonoma region. According to that publication, per case, the average price was $303. Also, we assume again the price of per case will grow 3% annually, again at the historical inflation rate. Cost of goods sold per case is $114, which is about 38% of sales price. And other costs, marketing, sales and administration, and the lab research are estimated to be 20% of the sales. Production-related assumptions, we thought the grape harvest for a new wine startup will start on the third year, about from 2 tons per acre, and gradually it will increase 20% annually and then stop at 10 tons per acre grape production. And also we obtained from Vickers 2017 that 1 ton of grape yields about 60 cases or 720 bottles of wine. Table 2 shows investment and depreciation methods. A casual look at the investments, we have the first part as land, trucks and receiving equipment, cellar equipment, material handling equipment, refrigeration system, fermentation and storage, and cooperage. We assume these investments will all receive modified accelerated cost recovery system of 10-year life. That means over the 10 years, the percentages that are described by the IRS, those rates will be applied to the purchase price to depreciate. Then we have establishment cost, tasting room, and plant and office, and those will receive straight line depreciation over a 20-year period. Table 4 on our paper has price and quantity estimations to find out sales. This is between 2018 and 2038. And based on those assumptions, we can see that 2018 and 2019 sales are zero, and also 2020, because 2018 is the today, assumed as today, and the production starts at 2021 as 2 tons per acre. Investment criteria results are shown on this slide, and based on, again, Sonoma region pricing assumptions, we found that net present value was about $4 million, greater than zero and acceptable. Internal rate of return is 14%, approximately greater than 12%. Weighted average cost of capital acceptable. Again, modified internal rate of return is a little bit over 13% and greater than 12% acceptable. And profitability index is 1.36, greater than 1 and acceptable. Figure 1 looked at the matter when land prices changes, what happens to net present value. As we would expect, when the land becomes more expensive, then at some point net present value reaches to zero, which that point is about $300,000 per acre approximately. Figure 2, on the other hand, looks at investment criteria of ordinary and discounted payback periods. As we can see from the figure, when we think that payback period is about 7 to 9 years, even if we assume that the land prices are zero. And when we increase further land prices, we have higher numbers for payback and discounted payback periods. And in fact, if the land prices goes above 200,000, discounted payback period does not pay back. And our conclusion of this paper is, if the prices are above 200,000 per acre in the Napa region of California, below $300,000, it will be acceptable. Again, based on our assumptions, investment criteria will make our projects to be acceptable. But if it's above approximately $300,000, as we said before, net present value is about zero, and the projects will not be acceptable. Ordinary payback and discounted payback periods are approximately 7 to 10 years. Again, assuming these land prices are about 200,000 per acre. And if the land prices goes above 200,000, then ordinary and discounted payback periods will become too long to recover the initial investment. Those are the conclusions of our paper. Thank you.